Hello again. Now we're going to move on to charts. We have 15-minute slots on this, so if it goes a bit fast, apologies, but we can go over it again. You can email me, we can do one-to-ones. So here goes. Now you're going to receive a piece of data like this. Again, level 2s may be asked to upload the data. This is for City and Guilds, but we can talk about that later for City and Guilds. So this data here, and they'll ask you to create a chart. Now, level 1s may just be asked to create a chart with everything. I doubt it, but just to create a chart, you can click anywhere in the data because the data is all locked. Then we can go to Insert and we can see recommended charts and a variety of different charts here. Now for your exam, they're going to ask you to use a bar or a column or a pie maybe. They're not going to ask you for scatter graphs or anything like that. It's not that in depth. Now, unless they ask you for something specific, which is more level 2, my advice would choose a column chart. Just make it nice and simple and do what you need to do. In the real world, you could ask the client and ask them what they want. But for this, just use a column chart. So I'm just going to go for a basic one. But if you want to play with it in your own way, have a look at these 3D effects. They are quite nice. The bar charts, they look, that's because I've selected all the data. They look a bit wacky, don't they? But whatever you choose, please make sure it's fit for purpose. And you're going to show it to me and I'm going to feed back. So anyway, I'm going to choose a basic column chart. So we can see here, it's printed a chart and it's on the same page. Now, level 1s, it may ask you in the question to put it underneath the data or beside it or on a different page. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. So here we go. It's selected all the data and we have everything. We can see all the dates or the months along the bottom from here, and we can see the increments that it goes up in, and we know it's in centimeters. It says it there, so this goes up in centimeters. We can see the key, and we need a key because we have more than one set of data, so we need to identify what the colors represent, so we have a key. If we were just looking at one set of data, i.e. London, I wouldn't have this at the bottom blue saying London because it would be the only columns on there be blue, so I would get rid of the key. So just remember, if you're only looking at one set of data, don't need a key or else you'll be penalised. If you're looking at more than one set of data, you need a key to differentiate. So what do we need to do with this? We need to add a chart title and some axis headings, so the y-axis and the x-axis. So you can see now that I've clicked on the chart and you can see it's highlighted. And when I do, these two tabs appear. So if I click off the chart, the tabs disappear. So if you think you've lost it, no worries, just click in one of the corners. Try not to click here because then you are clicking on the chart itself and it asks you to do different things bestly. So try and click in the corners somewhere and the two tabs will appear. So we can see we're in Design tab. If we come over to the left hand side, we've got Add Chart Elements and there's an array of things here to do. Now, again, if we had more time, we could have a look at these and by all means have a look yourself and have a play and send it me for feedback and we'll see if it works. However, for now, we're going to add a chart title and we can see if we hover, it can say no chart title. You see the chart title has disappeared, or you can have it above the chart or center overlaid. That just looks a little bit ugly to me because it's actually sitting on the line for 30 centimeters. So the one above is the ideal one. I've clicked in it. I don't need to click in here again because as soon as I start typing, it will appear in the taskbar and away we go. So I know this is a rainfall survey. I'm just going to give it a name that's appropriate and you should get this. Should be able to decipher this from the question paper. So I'm going to press enter and rainfall survey comes in. But whilst I've got this one highlighted, what I'm going to do is make sure it's a size 14. Remember we was talking in spreadsheets. Make the main heading size 14, the subheading size 12 and all the rest size 11 and you can't go wrong. So I'm just going to bold this to make it stand out a bit so it looks a bit more fit for purpose, a bit more professional. Now I need to add access headings. So again, I have these two highlighted. I'm going to go over to the left hand side and I'm going to hover on access titles. I'm going to use the horizontal or the vertical. Now you can see on the bottom of the screen the horizontal space tab turns up for the title and then the vertical. So I'm going to do horizontal first. Again, I've clicked. I just can carry on typing now and I just need to name what the columns are, and there are actually months. You should be able to decipher all this from the question paper. I'm going to highlight this again. I'm going to bold it. Remember the font sizes. I'm going to make it 12 so it just stands out. Click off. It's starting to take shape now, isn't it? So my tabs have gone because I've just clicked into something else to amend the font. So no problems. Click in the left hand side. Design. Axis titles. I'm going to do the vertical now. Now you need to name 100%. This needs to be named the y-axis. You need to know what this data is relationship to. So is it just numbers? Is it percentage? Is it currency? Or is it an average? Is it mean, mode, median? So you need to identify what the numbers represent. So in this case, it's centimeters and it's rainfall centimeters. So I'm just going to put rainfall. CM. Enter. I want to make these two the same. Now, if you remember back from one of the other videos, you can click in here, and when I click into this word, from home, I can come over to Format Painter, click once, I can hover on here, and it will copy the format from the one I did before. Or you can just amend it by using the font style and the text size. So we start to look at this now. I can see I've got a size 14 heading, size 12 subheadings. It's looking nice. The only thing that looks a bit array is the key at the bottom. So what I can do here is right click in the key and I can format the legend. I've been calling it key, they call it a legend, so it's a similar thing, isn't it? So I can format the legend. I can see on the right hand side, oops, I'm in the way. Apologies for that. I can see on the right side it's been formatted to the bottom of the page. So I'm just going to move it to the right here. It just looks a bit nicer there, doesn't it? I think so. So I can get rid of this if I want, just to make it look a little more professional. And then I can move the chart to wherever the question has asked me to move it. Now, a few other things we can do with this chart are to emphasize the headings and the axis headings and put some color in, but I'm going to do that a bit later on a bigger page because it just stands out better. But basically, for level 1s, 9 times out of 10, this is what they'll ask you to do. This one's a little bit easy because we've selected all the data. We're now going to move on to what you do when you select certain bits of data, not all of it. Certainly level 2s will not get anything like this. They'll have to select specific data, not all of it. So for moving charts, I was checking my time. Yeah, plenty of time. So if I need to move this chart onto another tab, they may ask me to put it onto another page. It's not a case of cutting and pasting it and opening the tab setting here and then pasting it in. It's not that. What they want you to do is actually move it and it will fill the page up like so. So if you realize you've done all this and then you think, oh dear, the question's asked me to put it on another page, then what we can do is right click in this space here, remember, in the corners. I can move the chart and I can see it says object in. So it's actually, this is the object and it's inside the charts tab. So the charts tab's here and this object is inside it. So I want to put it onto a new sheet. So I'm going to click new sheet. I can rename the sheet now or I can rename it later because we can see all these tabs have been named. So I could rename it to rainfall chart. I'm going to move it. We can see straight away it's put it on a new tab. So the new tab is here. We can see the old tab. The chart has disappeared, it's moved, and it's gone onto my new tab, which I've named, and it's here. Now, if you forget to name it and you've moved it, then, cool, I'm getting in the way, aren't I? If you forget to name it, then what you can do is right-click on a tab, and then you can rename the tab. You can even color the tabs. So have a play with these, but certainly name your tabs at the bottom. Don't leave them as just chart, because 6 months time you don't know which one's which. So we were talking about amending this now that it's in, I was going to say fuller view there, or I did, but now it's more emphasized. So things we can add to this. What I can do, I can now come up to format, and I can design the heading a bit. So the shape outline, I can put a black outline around it. I can go back into shape outline and I can increase the weight, so the size of the line around. So you can see it stands out a bit more, doesn't it? I can go and do the same for these two, just making sure that they are consistent. That looks a bit heavy to me, so I'll have that a bit lighter, that line around the outside. Something else I can do is I can click in here and I can shape fill. So I could add a nice little colour just to take the tinge off everything. And then another advanced setting, I can click into here and I can deselect the colour from here. So the shape fill for this item, I can have no fill. Oops, it's not worked. This is good, isn't it? I can shape fill. Let's try white. There we go. So I could actually, it's endless the things you can do, but this is more than enough to pass the exam, what is in show here. So remember, key points. Make sure headings are consistent, the access headings are consistent. Make sure the main heading is larger than everything else. Make sure you have a key if you have more than one set of data. If you are looking at one set of data, delete the key, the legend. You could enhance your headings by adding other formats and put some colour on the background. Right, I'm going to go back to charts now, and I'm going to show you how to move the chart with a fast track key, and then I think I'm going to have to set up another video to do the extension bit for level 2s, because I can see the time here is coming on to 11.5 minutes. So if you selected the data, as we said, you can just click in anywhere because the data is all together, or you can highlight the data. What you should be able to do, I just got to check with my notes, I'm on a laptop. On a desktop, it would be Control and F11, and it will move it onto a new chart. I'm going to try a fast track key with my laptop, and I'm sure it says it's the function key at the bottom and F11. Phew, that worked. You can see it's now put the chart in here. I mean, there's the original chart, which was moved to here, which we coloured, and there's the one I've just moved with F11. So yes, but on a laptop, it's function key, FN at the bottom, and F11 at the top, so it's them two together. But if you're on a desktop, it's Control, bottom left hand of the keyboard, and F11. So have a play with them and check their question paper and see if you have to move it, because it's nicer to amend everything here, isn't it? I think you've got more space. So I'm going to end the video here, and I'm going to have a part 2 to this, which is mostly for level 2s, but please level 1s have a look, because there'll be a stretching challenge on there. So thank you very much.